Ole, 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 feeling hot, hot, hot. It's quite warm out there today, according to my phone. Haven't gone out there yet. It's about, what time is it? What time is it? Fuck, 3 p.m. Still haven't left the house. I haven't played my PlayStation 5 in 3 whole fucking weeks, mate. Which might sound like not a lot of time. But gaming had pretty much become my entire hobby, and it's hit me that ain't that healthy. Because I'm out of breath just walking about here now. Literally. Fucking panting. I somehow still fit into 32 waist jeans. Crotch. But if I measure my stomach, I think it's 35 inches now. Which isn't that good, really. And it's not a surprise. It's not like it's happened to me for no reason. I eat a lot and I don't exercise enough. Classic. Obviously, I have a job where I'm sat at a desk all day. And it's odd how you can do that and then come home from work, or maybe even working from home, so you're already at home. You're just tired after. Like, physically, you feel heavy. You feel like all you can muster the strength to do is sit in front of the telly. Luckily, Ellen cooks all of my meals for me, so I don't even have to make dinner, but I have become quite lazy, I recognise it. Especially over the winter. I don't go outside much because normally the weather's horrible. I have thought recently about joining a gym again, but gyms, man, they're just fucking shite, aren't they? Not all of them. Ellen has been going to a gym for about a year now, but it's not really like a gym. It's more of a sort of personal training group. It's quite expensive, but she's got some good results from it. And she seems to have a lot more energy. And she's always telling me, you should come and do this CrossFit shit with me. And I'm like, she explains what they're doing and it tires me out just listening. But I am going to go for more walks. I am going to prioritize exercise. But you might be wondering, probably not, but you should be wondering, well, if you're not gaming anymore, what have you been doing the last 3 weeks, boy? I've been reading, dude. I've been reading books. I've been trying to educate my mind. I've been trying to get my attention span back because I realised, like a lot of people, I was on my phone constantly. Still am, kinda. We still are the same, right? We wake up in the morning, phone's all charged up next to us. We got 10 minutes maybe to kill before we have to get up, have a shower, make our breakfast. What are we going to do with that 10 minutes? Of course we're going to look at our fucking phone. Straight away. No sort of gradual awakening. It's grab the phone, look at social media, keep scrolling. What are we even on it for? What are we hoping to see? I guess it does something in our brains, something with dopamine. And that's something I've been conscious of. Like with the gaming, I got particularly addicted to a game called FIFA, which I'm sure you've heard of. Dreadful game, same every year, rigged. Like the difficulty gets adjusted for you when you're playing online, so like there's no consistency. It feels like you're being cheated by the game, and they make it as addictive as possible. And it made me into quite a horrible, miserable person every time I would play it. But I would tell myself I'd uninstall a game, and then a new one would come out, and I'll go, I'm not going to buy it. I know that game's bad for me. And then there'd be some kind of deal, a discount, or maybe you get a control with the game for a lower price. It's like, oh, fuck, I've bought it again. Start playing and go, right, I'm going to be different this time. I'm not going to get wound up by the game. It's just a game. It doesn't matter. And then the same thing happens. I'm playing that stupid game for 5 hours straight until the early hours of the morning at the weekend. I wouldn't do it, fortunately, when I had work, but nothing to show for it. Nothing at all to show for it. So I've uninstalled that. I'm deliberately staying away. I think for me, generally speaking, maybe Call of Duty is a little bit addictive. Any of the games where you're just playing online, it's very competitive, highly focused. That takes a lot of your energy. Your energy gets used up when you're concentrating, when you're bored. Everything uses energy, so you got to think about it like that, especially if you're like me and you're often feeling very fatigued and burnt out. But other games, like story-driven games where there's a bit of pacing and storytelling mixed in with the gameplay, I don't really have a problem getting addicted to those games. I can play for like an hour or two and that's fine. So for my own mental health and well-being, I cannot play FIFA anymore. And I love football, as do most men, particularly in England and the UK. It's the number one sport. It's the best sport in the world to watch. But FIFA, because they've had no competition over the years, have been allowed to keep just bringing out the same shit every year, where it's all surrounded by money-grabbing Ultimate Team. And it's just not fun, man. Like, there are clips of people smashing their tellies, smashing controls, whacking their desks, like punching themselves in the face. That game can make you fucking insane, I swear to God. And I know people that don't get it will be like, oh, come on, people just need a bit of willpower, it's their problem. No, that game will fuck you up. So I've been reading books, dude. I'm like on my 4th book right now. I'd read this book in the past, but I decided to listen to it on Audible, Your Brain on Porn by Gary Wilson. I don't look at porn, although every now and then I will have a slip up and never feel good after, do you? You never think, oh, let's watch some more now that I've, sort of finished. Immediately close the tabs down, don't want to look at that. I wasn't watching anything too weird, but I'd say all of it's quite weird. It's weird that you could be a virgin and you've seen thousands of naked women doing all kinds of stuff, or men, whatever you're into. And what happens with that, I used to have some problems in the past. I don't know if this is the video to like go into it too deeply, but it affects your brain, definitely, in scientifically proven ways. And I used to have a few problems from that, which fortunately I don't have anymore, but I still feel like because I watched it for years and years and would still dip in here and there, that it's made my brain struggle to cope with normal sort of mundane reality, like FIFA, very stimulating, very like concentrated playing this game. When you come back to just reading a book or going for a walk or working, all that stuff, it can be very hard. Oh man, I feel really full. This is a thing though, I need to stop eating so much. Like, I'll have a big dinner and be stuffed, and then I have dessert. It's like so unnecessary. I'll be happy. That's the one thing I really need to fix above anything else that I really still struggle with, especially at work. I get bored at work. I'm unmotivated at times. I'm like a bit depressed often when I'm at work. I walk through to the kitchen and there's a surplus of biscuits every day. And then people go and buy cakes. It's such unhealthy shit, man. When all you're doing is being sat down all day, it's like a bad combination. It's only going to go in one way. And some people aren't like me. Maybe they aren't as addictive in their personalities as I am. They can have one cake or one biscuit and, oh no, that was nice. For me, if I have one, that's not going to stop at one. I'm going to probably have like 10 biscuits. And that isn't me exaggerating. You know those big Toblerone bars, the ones that are like a $5? There was a deal on those, I think £2 somewhere on Amazon, I think it was. I bought 3 of them for Christmas presents for people. And I ate them all after wrapping them up in wrapping paper. Like, how bad's that? In a week. 3 of them fucking massive bars in a week. That's the kind of shit that I do quite often, so I really do have a problem. I don't want to get diabetes. That's one of the books I'm listening to at the moment, actually. But I'm not just focusing on the non-fiction, self-helpy stuff that I used to read a lot. I'm bored of that crap. I've been reading some decent books. I read Killing Floor, the first Jack Reacher novel. There are 29 of them. I think the last one's due out the 29th, and there'll probably be more. Quite a good book. Very exaggerated in some ways in terms of his ability to work stuff out. Like, that was lost on me. Or not lost on me, I thought it was stupid. So it's not like a perfect book. I might read some of the others if they go in sale. I've added a few to my wish list, like the next ones in the series, but apparently after the first one, you can read them in any order. They're just individual stories. But I did enjoy it. I thought it was quite good. It was my first kind of gateway book back into reading fiction for the first time in years. And then someone at work recommended a book to me called Isabel in the Afternoon by Douglas something. Kennedy. Yeah, he's an American guy. It was kind of like a love affair book, kind of a romance, but not like a bean flicker kind of book. It had a lot of kind of down to earth, gritty realism to how these people were interacting and how they were living their lives. Had a lot of character development, and I really like that in TV or anything. Realism. I can't bear to watch stuff where the acting is so like unrealistic. The way people talk, like people don't talk like that. Superhero films, all that stuff. I need it to be realistic and like emotional. And I really enjoyed that book. Took me a little while to get into it because there was a few sort of French translations which weren't explained because the guy is in Paris a lot of the time. So I had to keep Googling stuff because it didn't really tell me, like, I could guess from the context roughly what the French bits were, but I got through it. First 20%, I was like, oh, I don't know if this is for me. I finished it in 3 or 4 days. Brilliant book. Fucking loved it. Turned it away, or I turned my Kindle off, sorry. Had a shower and I was just thinking about the book. And I was just thinking about some of the messages in that book about life and how we choose to live. And sometimes how we want things, or we think we want things and then you get it. And once you've got it, it's like, oh, I don't know if I actually want this. But if you can't have something, sometimes it makes you want it, which is ridiculous. Stupid brains. But that was really good. What else have I been reading? There's one more. Oh yeah, it's the one I'm reading now. I think it's called When She Disappeared. I think that's it. It was 99p and it had a lot of reviews. And actually I was looking at it on my Amazon wish list when I was at Ellen's mum's last weekend. And she's like, oh, I'm reading that book right now. And I said, is it good? She said it was, and it had good reviews. And it's just about a missing person case, kind of. And a little bit of mystery around what's happened to this girl and her boyfriend. They've just gone missing after going to a party. And I started it this morning. And I'm a quarter way through the book already. And I feel good about it. Like, when I was gaming, don't get me wrong, I love gaming. There's nothing wrong with it. It's like watching a film in a lot of ways. But when I'm reading and I'm gradually working through a book and using my own imagination to picture stuff from the book and having to hold my attention through some bits where I find it quite difficult during books when they go really heavy on explaining the environment the people are in, like, oh, the tree, rather than saying there was some green trees, like really detailed for like a page talking about a tree. So I have to sometimes push myself to get through those bits, and then when there's some dialogue and back and forth and the story is developing, then I get hooked. But yeah, this one, the chapters are like, I don't know, like probably 10 pages, whereas in the Douglas Kennedy book, there were only 6 chapters that were probably like 100 pages each. Anyway, that's pretty much it. I'm going to go for a walk for like an hour. I'm going to try and incorporate more movement into my regular day activities, and the weather's going to start getting nicer soon, which will help with that. And what's equally good is when I'm walking, I can listen to audiobooks on my Audible or Spotify now, give you 15 hours a month. And like every book pretty much that I had in my wish list is available on Spotify Premium. So it's very good. I went to see Michael McIntyre last night. Me and Ellen have gone to the O2 a few times lately in London, and we always have got the train there, but it's been a pain to get back to Norwich because you have to get a coach to some really horrible part of East London where you don't really feel that safe. Graffiti everywhere, glass bottles smashed, people walking in double tracksuit. Like, it's just a bit grimy and rank. Not to sound like a judgy person, but like, I don't want to be, I don't feel sad, I might get stabbed. And then you're stuck there for like an hour, and then you got to get a coach, and then the coach changes to a different train. It's like, fuck that, man. Fuck that. So Ellen drove us, and it was all right. Like, it was a little bit stressful. I mean, I was the passenger. I wouldn't have wanted to do the journey myself. But it wasn't that bad. When we suddenly arrived at the car park at O2, and we could see the O2 there, and all the Canary Wharf buildings in the background, it's like, we're fucking here, man. We got ourselves here. Well, Ellen got us there. And then we drove back after Michael McIntyre, got back about 1 a.m, but it saved us paying for the train. Hotels normally like 200 quid between us when we go there, because we don't want to stay at like a hostel or somewhere too rough. Because I have standards, you know. Normally say a Premier Inn, I like a Premier Inn. But we've been doing it a bit too much lately, so I'm glad that we did it that way cheaper, had a nice meal out. Michael McIntyre is my favourite comedian of all time. I think he's great. I don't understand people that don't find him funny. He was brilliant, and I was so close to the front. I was in Block A, and there were Blocks A, B, and C, and then all the people in the stands, which is where I've normally been seated for a gig there. And row H, so I was like, I don't know, what's that, 8 or 9 rows back from the front, and you got this massive stage. So it was brilliant, and yeah, had a really good time. Got the rest of the weekend off to watch WrestleMania 40. It's on till probably 5 in the morning both nights in the UK, so I'm not going to watch it live, that's too late for me. But I'm going to watch it in the morning, and then on Monday I will do the same. But my arm aches from holding this up. I've been speaking longer than I thought I would, 16 minutes now. But yeah, hope you're well. Let me know what you've been up to, what you're looking forward to for the rest of the year. If you read, what kind of books you're into, any recommendations, not that I really need them because I've got fucking loads. But yeah, loving the books at the moment. I will game again. I'm just going to try and balance all of my different hobbies and interests. Still not playing my electric guitar though, that I spent like 800 quid on last year. Maybe at some point. Cheers for watching, guys. Bye.